Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mampolo from Mampolo's Canal. Renee Maisa. Guys, let's listen to the latest update of Peter Obi's case. Yes. We have the Director General of Labour Party that will tell us the right thing that happened in Peter Obi's case recently. In fact, the latest update, you need to know now. What I want you to do now, just get small Coke or small beer or small cup of tea, small cappuccino, small coffee. Relax on your sofa. Not be too much video, not small video, not too long. Let's get yourself acquainted. For those who are asking me, what is happening now? What is Peter Obi's fate? What is Labour Party's fate? Are we winning? Is Tinubu winning? Is Tinubu losing? Now, don't ask me again. Huh? Are you hearing me? Let me bring you the video. From the inner caucus, you get what the people they call inner caucus. If anybody want to be able, don't tell you, say, I am inner caucus. No, say that person know what thing they happen inside. So now inside and now I bring to you, may you tell us what did happen for Peter Obi case. Up to date, the latest. Guys, if you never see the video, all right now, watch the video.
It has been a beehive of activities in and around Nigeria's seat of power ever since Bola Tinubu was sworn in as president on May 29, 2023. Everything he has done between then and now has borne the imprint of a man who is not bothered by the prospect of disrupting the system. Now, in order to get things done in double quick time, but again, not everyone has forgotten that the legitimacy of Tinubu's declaration as winner of the last presidential election remains a subject of litigation before the Presidential Election Petitions Court. In a matter of weeks, the tribunal will be expected to give a verdict on the petitions brought against him by Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party and critically that of Peter Obi, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party. Yes. That verdict, any which way, could potentially have far-reaching implications for Nigeria's political development and jurisprudence for students and teachers of the law going forward.
That's true.
Now, before we have our guests join us, I mean, Steve, this is definitely one for the books. I don't think we've ever had something, it's almost like we're holding our breath waiting to see, because everybody is waiting to find out what the result of this particular election tribunal is going to be. But we're already seeing the president about a month in after his swearing doing everything possible to make sure less than a month he's been able to do so much. But okay, we have our guest now, so let me just introduce him and then we can further this conversation. Now, Akin Oshutokun, a chieftain of the Labour Party who was Director General of the party's Presidential Campaign Council, we expect to get an update as well as his thoughts on Tinubu's Democracy Day warnings to the judiciary to avoid decisions which, according to him, could be capable of scuttling the nation's democracy, among other issues of national importance. It is good to have you on the show, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good to be back.
All right, then. So let's start with this. The president gave his Democracy Day speech last week. And one of the things that he said, and I quote, is, "It has become imperative to state here that the unnecessary illegal orders used to truncate or abridge democracy will no longer be tolerated." Now, there's been a lot of reactions to this. A lot of people, especially in the legal space, have said that this particular statement is a reckless threat to the judiciary and is deliberately targeted at the eminent justices at the Presidential Election Tribunal. I want to know what your thoughts are on President Bola Tinubu's statement.
Well, this kind of talk by the president didn't just start today. Before the election, when he went to Chatham House in England, he told people who were having lunch with him in open mind that elections are not won a la carte. You snatch it, you grab it, you do that. So look, on that circumstantial evidence alone, he has imputed, fraud to his own aspiration. So that kind of person who had said that, it is counterintuitive. I would be unrealistic to believe that that person will not make an effort, to want to rig the election. The same thing happened when, in the course of the currency redesign, which it has, regardless of its, negative impact, it did, pose a challenge for those who want to use money to manipulate the election. And he said so clearly, he assumed that guilt. He said the currency design was targeted at him. So what will you need money to do? In what respect is it targeted at you? Nigerians felt the impact of what was going on. But if we are now appropriating it, that it is targeted at you, it's an implication of what you intend to do, to influence the election. So coming from me, I mean, it's not, people can be conventional, right? They call it Freudian slip, whereby See, look, there's something ironical that is going about. Right? People say, look, the fact that all the three candidates scored 12, won in 12 states, of course, the Labour 11 and Abuja, is an evidence that the election was competitive. But what if in reality the election was not competitive? That reality, so you see, it's working to the answer, right? That after all, you are evenly, the thing is evenly split, but in reality, right, what if the election was not competitive? And, logically, the background against which the election was held was a situation in which the APC government, had totally failed in the art of governance, in governing this country. It's counterintuitive to believe that Nigerian voters will go to the polling booths, and go and voting the same people. Now, there was something I did, prior to the elections. I talked with my friends. I deliberately went to, sample opinions that, look, almost people, families in which you have young people, the younger generation, including, maybe the father and the mother, they have 4 or 5 children who have age to vote. I deliberately went out to ask before the election that, look, the young people, I will ask them, who do you intend to vote for? And believe me, there was nowhere that I got a different answer from saying that they were going to vote for Labour Party. When the results were released, people were saying that, I said, look, call any young person that you know on that day of the election, anybody, any young person, that who did you vote for? That the likelihood, the probability is that, and the 90% probability that the answers you will get, right, is likely to be that they voted for Peter Obi. So against that background, look, in Lagos, I was living in Lagos for quite a while. So if there are 4 or 5, 6 people in a family, let us assume that only the parents, the father and the mother, they will vote for any other party. You now have 4 children or 4 other members of the family saying they will vote for Peter Obi. As I said, I'm not guessing, right? This is what I did. You are talking about the tribunal. There are some things that the circumstantial evidence, which I was speaking to. I was not merely saying that about demographic distribution of voters. I did make the point that the presidential candidate of APC at that time, who is the president now, said in London, hope everybody listen to it, if you want us to win this election, snatch it, grab it. So what do you expect from? And then, of course, what you quoted him saying about truncating the democracy, unnecessary, if you take both of them together, it adds up. Now, of course, in Nigeria, again, it's unrealistic of me to believe that people who have the capacity and the opportunity to vote, to rig the election, well, of all the 3 principal candidates, the person who has that advantage obviously is the APC candidate. So if that APC candidate had said this prior to the election, so it adds up. Of course, we are talking about it. So these circumstantial evidences are part of what the court will consider.
All right.
The tribunal, we have a case, we have evidences, we have a thing. But look, the judiciary itself is under unnecessary stress set. The judiciary is not supposed to elect a president for the country. All right, so it is unusual what we now go through in Nigeria that about, immediately you do have this election, you proceed to court, asking them to choose an election, the winner for you. And this is quite unfortunate, especially against the backdrop of what a Senator Bukachua, said openly on the floor of the Senate, that he influenced his wife, who was the Chief Justice of the Federal Court of Appeal, to favor senators here. No, he said it openly. So by now, I would have thought the NJC would have invited him to come and clarify what he said.
For where?
Here was a man confessing, that in collusion with his wife, who was the Chief Justice of the Federal Court of Appeal, they manipulated election results. So, Nigeria is such a country that, when you look at whatever case you want to make about, you have a surfeit of evidence, to prove your point. Now, look at I was saying the irony, of these 12 states being shared by the principal candidate. It is almost a statistical impossibility for you to have 3 candidates scoring exactly in the 12 across the country.
Now,
there must have been an intervention of human agency.
yes.
The probability of that happening is so low that, but as I said, they're working to they will tell you that this is an evidence that there was no fraud in the election. So it serves that purpose. People, they are using a dishonest, evidence to argue that this should not have been the case. So look at Abia State, for instance. You had the returning officer in the Abia State who said, she was rejecting, all pressures to act one way or the other. The same thing, coupled that with what happened in Adamawa, where the returning officer announced arbitrarily. Okay, so if that is happening in the process, if this is what these are evidences that these are public issues. Now, you draw your inference from that are those people the exception or the rule? I believe that it is rule. In Nigeria, you hardly will find anybody who has the opportunity and the capacity and the inclination to rig, not doing so. All right. So this is the kind
Mr. Oshitoku,
if you want to talk about...
No, those are the things that you have presented to the tribunal, and it's better, it's safer to let the tribunal decide on it. I just wanted to have your thoughts quickly on the first 3 weeks of President Tinubu. He's been getting a lot of accolades, and I'm sure that you have been following. What will be your assessment of it? And do you think that this, in any way, all the accolades that he's been getting, can be a factor in what eventually comes out of the tribunal? Because this is a president that is riding the waves very high, and people are applauding him. What are your thoughts on his first 3 weeks?
What are these accolades that he is getting? Right? He started by saying fuel subsidy is gone. Right? He went back and said, no, he didn't say so. It took the GMD of NNPC to categorically come out that no provision had been made for the sustenance of... So I don't know what you mean by accolade. If a president is being sworn, he said this, a day or 2 days later, he went back on what he said. So look, let us we are dealing with people who are experts in propaganda. in manipulating public opinion. So I don't know what he has done. He has he suspended Emefiele and then him over to DSS. Emefiele was an agent of his predecessor. There was nothing that Emefiele could have done on his own, autonomous of the president who appointed him.
I said it before.
The same thing with Bauer, the chairman of the EFCC. Look, as I said, look, you are dealing with Nigerians can be gotten easily. Nigerians can be cheap, in getting excited over nothing. So I don't know what you mean by accolades of what he has said. Is it really people who go to visit him, or what? What is it that? What is, in your own opinion? What is it that is?
I'd like to come in there, Mr.
Deserving of accolades.
Well, I don't watch the video. I don't get much to talk on this video. Let's be watching first. As the days are going, both those ones that they give accolade and the ones that never they give accolade, we are watching. Our eyes are open like photo. If you love what I'm doing here, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, even on TikTok. All of my followers gonna love, guys. Peace out.